Hello, and welcome to Peculiar Happenings. I am Dr. Barbara Crampton, PhD, Cornell in 1997, joining me here today with, introduce yourself.
Detective Lee Ames NYPD. What's up, Barbara? Glad to be here.
Hello, Lee Ames. Detective, my apologies.
Detective to you. Nah, it's okay, Barbara. I know. We go way back.
Dr. Barbara.
My bad. Hey, Dr. Barbara.
That's just an example of a bit of the back and forth banter you will be listening to today. Welcome to a very special episode of Peculiar Happenings. I am unsure of what our usual hosts are up to at this time. We were brought in a little last minute. Detective Ames, you've talked a little bit before we hit the record button about your harrowing flight from the city. I had a very pleasant drive from the mountains of Vermont.
Wow. Hey, well, Barbara, my flight my flight was pretty good, eh? I grabbed a New York City deep dish pizza before I headed over here, No relation to either of the other hosts. I don't know.
An entire pizza?
An entire pizza, Barbara. An entire pizza. Have you ever had a New York City deep dish pizza, Barbara? Dr. Barbara, my bad, doctor.
Thank you, Detective Ames. I do think that I have. Quite delicious.
Very
wonderful delicacy.
Very good.
Yes, as you stated, no relation to either of the usual two hosts of this award-winning, Pulitzer-nominated podcast. I believe they said something about a meeting with the Duffer Brothers regarding the imminent release of Season 5.
Season 5 of what, Barbara?
Why, Stranger Detective, did they not give you the packet on the premise of the podcast?
Packet? I ain't got no packet.
You never received it? Okay, well.
Barbara, I got on a plane and I came all the way here.
With your deep dish pizza, yes, as you
With
have
my
mentioned.
New York City deep dish pizza, Barbara.
So, the podcast is usually about Stranger Things or
Stranger
other
what
things. Now? Stranger Things. It's the name of a television
Strange
show.
things been happening.
Strange things are always happening, Detective Ames. In fact...
And that's why we're here, Barbara.
That's why we are here today. Today, we are going to take the podcast and go in a bit of a different direction than our hosts usually do. Today, we are going to delve into the world of true crime.
I ain't never heard that word.
You've
delve.
Delve.
What kind of Barbara, what's that word?
It means to sort of dive in. We're going to uncover the mysteries. So the case we are talking about today, like all of the best ones in my opinion, is some 50, 60 odd years old. Our backdrop is Ohio, the 1960s.
Ohio. That's a nice place. I've been there. Have you been there, Dr. Barbara?
I don't think I have. I've heard there's a lot of fields. Detective Ames. A lot of fields. But this is where our story begins. A long, dusty road. Somewhere in the backwoods of Coolsville, Ohio. A run-down, ramshackle farm scented with rot and must. An airfield, empty and unassuming. 4 kids and a dog.
Dog?
Yes. Why, yes. Are going down this road. What started as a simple quest for gas turned into something much larger. Today, we are going to be discussing one of the most interesting, yet little covered cases of unidentified flying objects in this country's history. Dr. Ames, I believe you have something in your... Detective Ames, I believe you have choked on a bit of your coffee. Are you all right there?
Hey, I had to have my cup of joe. I had a real long fight, Barbara.
A real long fight?
A real long flight.
Oh, a real long flight. I see. So, have you ever heard of this case before, Detective Ames? I would like your perspective. I was thinking I would start with a bit of a discussion about our main group. We have a group of seemingly misfit teenagers banded together and sort of blew the lid off of a whole case of corruption and sabotage. Have you ever seen anything like that in your day?
Oh, Barbara, I've seen a lot in my day. Back before I was in NYPD, Detective Lee Ames here, in NYPD. I've seen so many.
I believe you got a little southern there, Detective Ames. I believe a train just went by, which should account for all of the audio feedback we are receiving.
Before I was in the NYPD, I've seen so many examples of kids like this. So many examples. Now, what was that one kid you were talking about? What was it? Fred?
I was discussing a bit about the so-called leader of this pack, yes, by the name of
I've seen him
Fred.
type before in the city.
What would you say? How would you categorize our cast? Actually, we have forgotten to inform the listeners of our cast. Today, we here are going to be discussing a group of what some have called heroes, others have called detectives, crime solvers, and others yet have referred to as vigilantes. We have the layout of the group goes as follows. Fred Jones, intrepid leader, trap, maestro, and mastermind. Velma Dinkley, the brains of the operation. Research and history are her game.
Research.
Daphne Blake, daughter of a high society socialite, who, from my investigation, seems to be the bank behind the operation. And our last two members, track star Norville Shaggy Rogers and his pet Great Dane, Scooby-Doo.
Scoober-Doo.
I do believe that is his government name, Scoobert-Doobert.
Now you're telling me, Barbara, Dr. Barbara,
Yes.
Scoobert-Doo.
You've gotten a little southern there again, my friend.
Barbara, I've been in this Western New York area too long now. I'm already losing my accent.
You've been around so many places. Yes, I do recall.
So many places.
I do recall you telling me earlier when we met for refreshments pre-show that you were originally posted in a police output in Kentucky.
Kentucky. That's why I've been to Ohio.
Yes, I do recall that. But
just a few weeks ago, Dr. Barbara. Dr. Barbara.
Yes.
I was down in Ohio recently. Dr. Barbara.
Yes, you're down in Ohio doing some
Down in
surveying,
Ohio.
trying to find primary source documents of newspapers from the inciting time at which this incident occurred.
Because I'm a detective. This is what I do. This is why I was hired for this.
Yes.
I detect things.
Yes. And tell us a little bit about what did you detect, Detective Ames?
I detected some troubled kids now. That's what I detected. We've got these kids. They talk to their dog.
Their dog.
Dog.
Yes,
Now, Dr. Barbara, you got a PhD.
I
Tell
do.
me. Tell me, what would you call it other than psychosis? These teens are talking to the dog.
Well, talking to animals itself is nothing concerning. I talk to my cats all the time.
Bob,
I
we all
think-
talk to our cats sometimes.
Precisely. The exact issue lies within expecting an answer or
If these kids, they
hearing an answer.
exactly, Barbara, you get it. They are expecting an answer from this dog. And they are talking to this dog as if this is an intelligent being. I saw that dog lick its butt.
As dogs often do, yes. You have
It's
brought
not an intelligent being.
to point one of the bigger criticisms of their investigation and handling of this case, beside the fact that they were not at the time trained law enforcement officers or detectives.
Like me. Detective
you.
Lee Ames
Detective Lee Ames.
NYPD.
So, we've given you a little background on the main players of this case.
The main
here.
players.
Let's talk about the actual case itself. So, according to
It's a doozy, Barbara.
it
it's
is
a
a
doozy.
doozy. According to several newspaper accounts you have found from the time frame that corroborate
Several.
this series of events, it all started sometime early in May of 1969. The residents
A good year, Barbara. That was a good year.
you were alive in 1969.
Oh, yeah. Graduated high school.
Ah. I was born in 1969.
Well, Barbara.
Woodstock.
Woodstock.
Not
Good
the Little
year.
Bird,
Good year.
the music festival. Most of our younger listeners only know the
Good
Little
year.
Bird. But yes, Coolsville, 1969, early May. Strange sights and sounds.
Strange sights.
Lights seen glittering over the tree line at night. Reports of an eerie, maniacal cackling, echoing.
Cackling. Like my grandma. My grandmama.
Your grandmama.
Oh, she cackled. She was a cackler.
Yes, thank you, Detective Ames.
She
Thank you.
sounded like something like this.
My, did she have a condition?
That's my grandmama. My grandmama.
My apologies if I have offended.
She supported me through the NYPD. My grandmama, she supported me through my days in the NYPD.
May she rest in peace, I presume.
Nah. I live with my grandmama.
If you don't mind me asking, Detective Ames, that is highly abnormal. How old is your grandmama by this point?
You never ask a lady her age, Dr. Barbara. Never ask a lady her age, okay? My grandmama, she supported me through the NYPD. She still supports me through the NYPD in my detection of delinquents like these kids we're talking about now.
I see.
She's a very intelligent lady.
I see.
Yeah. Love you, grandmama. I know you're listening.
My, well, that is certainly interesting. Do remind me. I would love to discuss this a little bit more after the show. I find myself intrigued.
Indeed. I bet she'll make you a cup of tea.
That would be
Come
wonderful.
back to the city with me for a while. Take a look around the NYPD.
Perhaps I may, but
Perhaps,
allow us to
Barbara.
get back to the case
Right, Barbara. Sorry, Barbara.
at hand.
Dr. Barbara.
That is all right, Detective Ames. I think that is what the initial hosts of this show would have wanted. I did see in the 75-page
75
single
pages.
space Times New Roman size 12 document they provided us with that they loved a good tangent.
Indeed. Makes sense for these girls. However, I think they forgot that I can't read. Why was I supposed to read a packet when I can't read at all? My name's Detective Lee Ames.
You're in the...
And I can't read. NYPD. Nice to meet you.
You're in the NYPD. And
Detective.
Sorry, detective. You're in the NYPD and you cannot
Indeed.
read.
I cannot read. My grandmama never taught me. She reads all my articles to me. All my research, she reads it. She's the detective behind my detective.
How, may I ask, how did you get into the NYPD if you cannot read?
Who's asking?
I am Dr. Barbara Crampton.
Who do you work for?
Myself.
I can't trust that. Barbara, continue. No one's gonna know how I got to the NYPD.
I see.
Top secret. Detective.
Would you just give me a moment to grab my notebook and a pencil? I'd like to take
Indeed.
some notes on some things.
Indeed. It better not be about me.
Certainly not Detective Lee Ames.
All right,
Just
Dr. Barbara.
trying to gather my thoughts about this complex web of a case at hand, which some to this day posit is still unsolved.
Indeed. This is an unsolved mystery we're talking here. You know, these hosts, they were busy. But this is serious stuff we're talking about.
It is.
Group of teens. They're out in the fields of Ohio. Talking about space kooks and stuff.
Yes.
They think that there's alien life here in Ohio. Back in 1969. Great year, if I do say so myself.
Yes. So, the inciting incident aforementioned, there was all sorts of peculiar phenomena, peculiar happenings, if you will,
The happenings, they were peculiar.
occurring at this time frame.
Indeed,
One
Barbara.
farmer who, I forgot to write his name down in my research.
You know, we can just call him Farmer Ted.
Farmer Ted, yes. This is all in archives available online for you listeners to peruse as well. So if you think there are any discrepancies or loose threads left, feel free to research the case of the spooky space kook. That
Indeed.
is spooky space, Kook, yourself.
Indeed.
Now-
I heard they made a show about it. An episode, if you will. 20 minutes. Pretty easy to watch.
There were some adaptations of this group's adventures at the height of their popularity. However, they are largely perceived and were received as inaccurate.
Inaccurate. The episodes you're talking about?
Yes,
I think someone's here, Barbara.
I do think so too.
Do you think it's those meddling kids?
Well, I'm unsure. By today, they must
Barbara.
be well into their 70s at
Hey.
the least.
You never ask a lady her age. That's what I'm saying.
You are correct.
Never ask a lady her age. Right, Grandmama? Love you.
You keep speaking as if she is here.
Grandmama
in the
is everywhere
studio
and
with
anywhere
us.
all at once.
I see.
Dr. Barbara, you
Let
should
me
know
just
this.
write something down very quick.
I hope you're not writing things down about me, Dr. Barbara.
No, certainly
Dr.
not.
Barbara,
I
come
would
on.
never. I would tell you if I was Detective Lee Ames.
Now, I think we should get back to these meddling kids. I think we should talk about
Yes.
them. What
Now.
do you think, Barbara? What are you feeling about these meddling kids? What happened with this
So-
spooky space kook?
The onset of the mystery was when their car, funnily enough, what a serendipitous coincidence, ran out of gas.
I hate when that happens, Barbara.
No gas stations around.
Not a
Middle
single
of
one.
nowhere. And do remember,
Unlucky.
as I'm sure you remember,
Oh, I do.
no cell phones in 1969. No way
Dang
to call for help.
Gosh.
No way to
Diggity dang it.
get a tow truck. So
Indeed.
they did the next best thing and approached a local farmer to see if they could perhaps purchase some gasoline to get their car out of there.
Indeed. Smart kids.
Now,
Smart kids.
it all spiraled from there. The farmer greeted them with much hostility, if I'm recalling
How
correctly
inconsiderate.
from your research.
Indeed.
He threatened them with a firearm in a case of mistaken identity because he believed they were some of the reporters that had been harassing
Reporters. No, I'm just a detective.
his farm.
Oh, wait. You're not talking about me anymore. That's fine.
Yes, I'm speaking about Farmer Ted, as we have decided to call him for the duration
Farmer
of this
Ted.
evening.
Good guy. Met him.
You met him.
I met him in my research.
He's still alive.
Oh, Farmer Ted? Of course Farmer Ted's still alive.
He was, from what I read, he was quite old by the time
Very old
this
guy.
mystery began.
Very old guy. You know, he's just Farmer Ted. He's interesting.
I see. Well, yes, Farmer Ted is one of the primary players in our case here.
Indeed.
Reporters had apparently been harassing his domicile for some time now due to the aforementioned strange phenomena, the lights, the voices, the laughing, the peculiar shapes drifting through the sky at night.
Unidentified flying objects, if you will.
Mm-hmm. So, at first glance, this case seems to be straightforward. The farm is located right next to an abandoned airfield.
Pretty interesting.
At first, maybe you think someone has gotten some of the planes back into working order and are just taking them out for a test run. Perhaps it could even be a case of conspiracy. Perhaps
Conspiracy theories.
the unidentified flying object was a secret World War II government project, now unable to be contained due to the decrepit and decaying nature of the abandoned airfield. Now, this theory does raise some questions. If technology this advanced and this sensitive was present at the airfield initially, it does not make sense for it to just be abandoned, especially not during the Cold War. Tell me so far, Detective. You already know the answer, but play along for the sake of our audience.
Indeed, I will, Dr. Barbara.
What, if you were hearing about this case for the first time, what do you think a theory of yours would have been? You were alive in 1969. Perhaps
Great
news of this incident reached you in high school. Do you remember hearing about it? Do you remember anything you may have thought?
You know, I heard of different kinds of kids like this, different meddling kids, if you will. But this was before I entered the NYPD. This was before I became Detective Lee Ames. This is, you know, I was just a kid back then. But there were always those types of kids in getting into all kinds of meddling trouble. But, you know, I think my hypothesis would have been that it was something to do with the government. However, we know now that that ain't the truth. We know that ain't the truth. Because there are people out there who like to parade around in masks and pretend to scare people they think is funny. So I do think what these kids were doing was a good idea. I think that they wanted to investigate. They wanted to go to this abandoned airfield and they wanted to figure out what it was. But, you know, they're also meddling kids and they got a little craziness with them. But does that mean they're bad people? I don't know. Barbara, what was the question again?
The question was if you recalled hearing about this case in your youth and what you may have thought, which I do believe you answered quite well. Now,
Okay. I'm just making sure I didn't have my 5th cup of coffee today.
oh, you're only on number 4 right now?
Only number 4. I'll get number 5 after this, though.
I see. Now, follow-up question to what you just mentioned from the perspective of a law enforcement agent. You supported what these kids did, it seems. What is your stance on their trespassing on abandoned government military property?
You know, as a member of the NYPD, I always think it is good to leave it it is always good to leave it to the professionals. Okay, I'm a detective, but I used to be, I'm a part of the NYPD. I've been through the ranks before. I've been doing all kinds of things. I was a lowly cop at one point. And then I raised up to the detective, and I do the research. My grandmama, she reads me the things because I can't read, NYPD, I can't read, but it's okay.
Do you, excuse me, do you say that as you are questioning people and you hold up your badge?
They gotta know. I gotta let them know my flaws before they can know my rights.
So,
my wrongs before my rights, if
just
you
to
will.
clarify, when you are pursuing someone who's wanted by the NYPD, upon encountering them and in the process of arrest, you show your badge.
Indeed, I
and
show
you
my
say,
badge. Mm-hmm. It's a good badge.
NYPD,
It's very shiny. I keep it clean.
I can't read.
Of course I do. I say Detective Lee Ames NYPD. I can't read. NYPD. I can't read. It's okay.
Fascinating.
You're under arrest. I say that every time. However, as a professional, as a person, hey, Barbara, what you writing over there?
Oh, just some more thoughts I've had about the spooky space kook
Okay,
case.
as long as it's about this boozy space scoop.
Yes. the spooky space kook.
Indeed, Barbara. Thank you.
You can
Lost
see
my
I've
words.
done a fresh and stunning illustration of a
Very nice.
skulled creature in the corner,
Very
which we shall
nice.
get to very shortly.
We shall. But I always think you should leave it to the professionals, okay? You should not be breaking and entering. However, they were kids. They were curious. I'd done plenty of things in my day. Back in my day, we break into old abandoned houses sometimes. But, it wasn't private property at that point. However, I do believe this was private property, so I cannot condone such behavior from such kids. However, I will say they were onto something. But if you're listening, kids, not necessarily these kids, but any kid out there, reach out to Detective Lee Ames NYPD. I got your back. We'll figure this out together.
Now,
Leave it to the professionals.
I do
Leave
believe
it to the
in
professionals.
a first-hand account from a police report filed by these kids after the initial investigation. They claimed that a gust of wind blew open the gate to the airfield and as such did not do any real trespassing or breaking and entering, which I think is a bit of a fascinating attempt at a legal loophole.
I agree, Barbara. I think that this still counts as breaking and entering, considering they are still crossing onto that property. Whether it's breaking, they are still entering.
Fascinating. Thank you for your input,
welcome.
Detective. That's why you're here today.
Indeed.
Now,
Thank you,
along
Barbara. Appreciate that.
with this ongoing apparent paranormal phenomena,
Paranormal.
there was
interesting?
physical manifestation of the creature that has been given the name the spooky space kook
Spooky spice cute.
by all present accounts and appearances. This was a figure in a large, puffy astronaut suit with a large, transparent, domed helmet within which resided a chattering skull set against a
Very
backdrop
spooky.
of flashing red and blue light, which I must say, quite a frightening description.
Very frightened, Barbara. I think if I had seen that, I'd turn with my tail between my legs like that one dog did.
Like Scooby-Doo, yes, he was.
Scooby-Doo.
He was a notable coward. Fly high.
Rest in power.
Rest in power, Scoobert-Doobert-Doo.
I heard they taxidermied him. Them kids, they still walk around with them. That taxidermied body of that dog. They're pretty trouble kids.
Heard about this, and I
It's
must
a rumor.
say,
It's a rumor.
it is troubling. It is a rumor that has been perpetuated in tabloid magazines, a notably unreliable source of information. But
Indeed.
I do have personal first-hand confirmation that this is indeed true.
You're telling me, Barbara. In all of my research and all my time in the NYPD and all the time I've been looking into these kids, it's true. They're crazy.
Now, I wouldn't say
I'd
Crazy.
say crazy, Barbara. Come on.
in my
Be honest with me, Barbara.
professional
PhD about they're crazy.
opinion and disposition, I think there is a bit more to it.
I'm gonna make my own notes over here now.
You do that, Detective Ames. Now,
Dr. Barbara is crazy.
are you... Detective, I thought you said you couldn't read.
That's why I said it out loud, Barbara. Because I wasn't actually writing it down. Making a mental note to myself and my little memory trap in the brain. The little noggin up here, okay, Barbara?
Like a steel trap.
Oh, it's a steel trap up here, Barbara, okay?
And speaking of traps, that...
Just like my grandmama.
Your grandmama has a mind like a steel trap at her age still?
That's where I got it from, Barbara.
Fascinating. Well, speaking of traps and steel traps, that is one of the original points of contention about the leader of this group, Fred Jones. He has what some have said is a bit of a morbid fascination with traps, gadgets, gizmos, doodads of all kind. Now, there is nothing unhealthy about having a hobby or an interest, but I do believe as Jones' life went on, it developed into an obsession.
That's how it starts. I've seen it once before. I'll see it again, you know. And we're seeing it here in Frederick Jones's experience. You know, he was obsessed, and he continued to have this obsession and talk to people about it and go on and try to trap all kinds of people. And eventually, you know, that is what he tried to do to Skilbert Do. And now we know that is why he's been taxidermied.
Yes.
I'm not trying to make more rumors, but I think that he was the cause of Mr. Do's downfall.
This could be the case. While we do not have precise confirmation on that, it was largely reported by the press at the time that this obsession with traps was one of the primary reasons cited in the divorce between Mr. Jones and Miss Jones, formerly Miss Jones, now Miss Blake.
Daphne Blake. You know,
yes.
I think. Hear me out, Barbara. I'm not a PhD.
Doctor.
Dr. Barbara. I'm
Thank you.
so very sorry. You know, I don't have a PhD. I don't have 5 PhDs like you have. Five or so?
6 as of last night.
6 as of last night.
Thank
you know, I don't have the PhDs like you do. However, I'm going to say it. I think that Frederick Jones's obsession with such traps has something to do with the fact that the gang split up.
I do think that is...
It was a domino effect.
I think I can see it. The more you try to hold on to something, the more you try to trap it in a cage, the more it wants to be set free. So the legacy of Frederick Jones Jr., in a way, can be seen as a self-fulfilling prophecy in a carrion downfall, if you will.
Indeed. I mean, we see it. We see it now. They work well together. The kids. They're going after this spooky space kook, you know? They're trying to find him back in Ohio. But the minute that the world becomes a reality, it becomes a hard time for them. And we see Fred get obsessed with these traps. And he and Daphne get married young, and they have their first kid. But it puts strains on Daphne because Fred is so obsessed with his traps and not paying attention to her or the kid. Mm-hmm. You know? Frederick Jones Jr., the second, whatever you call it, you know?
I believe that is the exact name written on the birth certificate.
Indeed, indeed. And then we got Velma Dinkley over here, who was forced into a heteronormative life with Mr. Shaggy Rogers until she realized at a very old age that she was indeed a lesbian, and she came out, which was amazing. Props to the lesbians. You know Detective Lee Ames loves the lesbians. However,
I think you have that on a shirt.
I do.
Do you not? A bit of your, a part of your Detective Lee Ames merchandise brand, was it?
Indeed. Detective Lee Ames NYPD. I love lesbians. But now what I was getting at is the fact that we had these two go off into a marriage. And then we had Velma and Shaggy go into this marriage too. But then Shaggy was so obsessed with his dog. Each time we see 2 members of the gang so obsessed with something else, and it puts strains on the girls. And they didn't know what to do. And so they turned not very healthy habits, and they started splitting off and getting away from each other. And then we had the dog, and he died, and that just sent it over the edge. And and then
Yes.
the one he went to drugs, and that's not good. Don't do drugs, kids. NYPD,
Yes.
don't do drugs.
It is very unfortunate to see the coping mechanisms that oftentimes individuals turn to when they do not have sufficient support or structured support and assistance in their life that they need.
Indeed. It drove him crazy, and that's why this mystery was never solved.
Yes. Or was it?
What do you mean, Barbara?
In
Tell me about it.
my research, I found a copy of the last will and testament, a deathbed confession of one Mr. Henry Bascombe.
Henry Bascombe.
Henry Bascombe, former World War II veteran,
All right.
fallen on hard times.
Hard times. Hey, don't blame him.
Hard Times by Studs Terkel, An Oral History of the Great Depression, is a fantastic book for any interested out there.
Indeed, Barbara.
Not
I
a
can't read,
sponsor.
but it's okay.
Not a sponsor. Perhaps you could get Grandmama
Ah,
to read
Grandmama.
it. Or perhaps, depending on Grandmama's age, she can give you her own first-hand narrative account of
That's true.
the Depression.
Because you never ask a lady her age.
You never ask a lady her age.
No, you
Now,
do not.
This deathbed will and testament, which also served as a confession of one Henry Bascombe, it blew the case open.
Okay, so when was this
It
will
blew
and
the case
testament? I
open.
don't remember hearing or seeing it.
This last will and testament was published in August of 1969, mere months after the onset of the incident.
Where did you find such a paper?
Deep in the archives of the public library at Coolsville, Ohio, in their genealogy documents.
You know, that makes a lot of sense. I can't read. I don't go to libraries. Why would I go to an archive in a library? I mean, Barbara, come on. I would have solved this if I could read.
I also consulted the family of Henry Bascombe because our intrepid heroes, our mystery solvers, initially attempted to pin the blame on him. The court case, as we know, was disastrous, hung jury for several weeks, and at the end they decided there was not sufficient evidence to acquit Mr. Bascombe. Now, this confession, this will and testament I found, detailed everything. Excuse me. All of my
You're excused,
youthful
Barbara.
years of smoking catch up to me on occasion.
You smoke. Got a smoke on you? Doctor.
Not in the studio, Detective Ames.
Dr. Barbara, come
Drink your cup of lukewarm coffee.
on. All right, Barbara. I'll try it, Barbara.
Now, this confession detailed everything, the method, the mechanisms, to this day, previously unexplained. These are some of the initial mechanisms the so-called mystery gang, as they have been colloquially dubbed,
Mystery Incorporated.
found in the airfield. Now, this was one of their biggest pieces of evidence against Mr. Henry Bascombe. But they could not figure out how they worked, nor could they come up with any evidence or significant proof that these items, a projector, a recording played over the speaker system, supposedly, they could not come up with any sale of receipt nor evidence that these items belonged or ever had belonged to Mr. Henry Bascombe. Now, everything was revealed in this document. He details an extensive, intense plot in which the Air Force was interested in buying back the old, abandoned military base. For what reasons? To this day, we are unsure.
The world may never
Perhaps
know.
there really was an unidentified flying object hidden deep within its walls.
Conspiracy theory.
Perhaps that could be a discussion for another episode.
Indeed, Dr.
Now,
Barbara. If we're invited back.
I can't see why not, Detective Ames. I believe we are doing a phenomenal job.
Yeah, I do say so myself, too.
So now, he orchestrated, in his own words, he orchestrated the entire thing in an attempt to scare off any potential buyers, including the Air Force, so that he could purchase the land for a far lesser price.
Henry Basco, you mean?
Yes, Mr. Henry Bascombe, who, according to this evidence I have here, was the spooky space kook.
You're telling me that this man made this whole plan and made up the spooky space.
The spooky space kook.
The space. That's what I said, Barbara. Dr. Barbara, that's what I said.
I see.
Indeed, you're telling me that Mr. Henry Basco made up this persona just so he could get this airfield back.
Yes, perhaps he knew something we did not. Or, as I prefer to think, perhaps this is just the actions of a downtrodden, disenfranchised individual.
Indeed, I tend to agree with you, Dr. Barbara. This is the first time we're agreeing. Just kidding. We agree all the time, kids.
To grasp at straws to gain back some of the life he had lost.
A troubled mind
His
reaches
life
for what they want.
is quite tragic.
I feel for the man. I feel for Henry Basco. The fact that he died right after all this happened and he put through all this effort. And then he didn't even get the land. I wonder what he was trying to hide.
We may never know, Dr. Ames, or Detective Ames.
Apparently I got a PhD now.
If you managed to do that without knowing how to read, I would be astonished.
I've done worse in my life.
What have you... would you care to elaborate, Detective Ames? Let me just
Who do you
turn
work for?
the page here.
Who do you work for?
I work for
Who's
myself,
asking?
Dr. Ames.
Who's asking?
I work for myself, Detective Ames.
Nah, I
as
don't trust you
previously
yet.
established.
No. My secrets in the NYPD are my secrets between
Detective
me and the
Ames.
NYPD.
I have bought you 4 cups of coffee today so far because you, as you said, lost your wallet on the plane.
End of discussion. End of questioning.
I see. Well, what do we think Bascombe knew that we didn't?
I think he knew.
As some like to suggest, there may have been the presence of a real, genuine, unidentified flying object. I don't think you, in your research, either have been able to find any corroboration of such claims, but naturally, if it were the case, they would keep a pretty tight lid on it.
You know, the world's pretty good at hiding things. And I know that I like to go with the facts. I'm a detective. You know, I want to I'm finding the answers. I seek the truth. I want to share the truth. However, I'm also human. And I like to think, Dr. Barbara, Crampton, I like to think that there was really an unidentified object that he knew about. And that he was hiding it. Or he knew how to hide it. Or was looking for it. You never know.
You never know.
And I think there's some comfort thinking in the supernatural and the fantasy. So I think there's nothing harmful. Unless you turn out to be like these kids. That turned out to be a little harmful for them. And their lives were kind of ruined.
Yes, too much of an adherence and prescription to the fantastical, the supernatural, can be damaging if you begin to consider it reality. I have dealt with many such cases that I cannot go into further elaboration on at this time.
Indeed. You know, Barbara, I think we learned something here today. I think we learned that some things, when they're peculiar and they've been happening, that some things are better left unspoken.
Indeed. I think what would you say other than that, if you were to draw one thing away from this twisted case, what would you say to any listeners out there, perhaps wishing to follow in the Mystery Gang's footsteps?
Indeed. Thank you, Dr. Barbara. You know what I would say, for any of you kids listening, okay? You know, a lesson I want you to take from this is if you're ever talking to your dog or your cat, and it talks back to you, or you think it talks back to you, well, then you're too far gone. And also, don't do drugs, kids. That's all. That's all I got.
Detective, I would not say they are too far gone.
Yeah, they're too far gone.
Okay. I see.
A little crazy.
I see we are once again having a disagreement.
It's okay, Dr. Barbara.
But
I think
that's
we
okay.
agree to disagree. It's all right. It's all right.
Yes.
Different lives, different backgrounds. I'm
Agree
Detective
to
Lee Ames NYPD. I can't
disagree.
read. And you're Dr. Barbara Crampton, PhD.
Yes, I am Dr. Barbara Crampton, PhD. Well, I think that is about all for our episode today. Remember, do not break and enter, as Detective Ames said. Do not do drugs
Don't do drugs, kids.
and stay weird. I am Dr. Barbara Crampton, PhD, signing off.
And I'm Detective Lee Ames NYPD. I can't read. Signing off.
Stay weird.